So when it comes to like your healing journey, what's helped you a lot? Because I think that's really important to touch on.
Yeah. So I was really struggling for a while. Like I was not doing well. Suicidal, just actions and just things that were really just not attracting good lifestyle choices, not attracting good folks in my life that really, my family was really consistent, really cared about me. They still do. But I was just not attracting people that have my best interest in heart. I was really struggling with that. I was struggling with, thoughts of suicide, suicidal ideation, anything you could possibly think of. And what changed for me was I stumbled across Dr. Jordan Peterson. Some people like to roll their eyes, but this is just my story.
I love that man.
I found him by happenstance. I was looking for something else and just sort of stumbled across one of his interviews and really connected. And that experience shifted all my focus. A big healing thing for me has been podcasts. When I'm triggered, for lack of better terms, when I'm in a dark place, if my mind isn't, if I'm hyper focused on something that isn't helpful, I found the podcast space. But it was really Dr. Jordan Peterson that really sort of made that, filled that gap. And just listening to him, learning about history, just starting to acquire some self-worth, doing esteemable acts, but really podcasts. It's been podcasts.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think there's got to be like a huge like healing mechanism when you start to feel like a connection, even if it's just through listening to someone or reading their book. Because I would imagine that's very lonely and very isolating, because it's hard unless you find those networks to find anyone that's maybe had those experiences. And then, like you said, you can very easily get into this place of unworthiness and this is all that I deserve. So that healing process probably takes a really long time. So those are really attainable things, that I think anyone can do.
I went to a survivor safe house. I did go to a safe house the second time. So like when I left the second time, it was a little bit more dramatic, even more dramatic than the first time. But I did go to survivor safe house. That was good. Some seeds were planted there. It wasn't the right fit for me. I was a little wild at the time, but those seeds were planted. Those seeds of hope were planted. Also, before the lockdown, I've also been a part of a survivor support group, all adults, after aftercare, really awesome survivors, a part of that group, where we could just be transparent, share a meal together, and talk about what's going on. So there's a lot of different things too. It wasn't just, Jordan Peterson, I believe in God. So that helps me out a lot,
Yeah, I think spirituality is huge, or religion is huge. And I, for some reason, they're both like dirty words right now. Like it's not cool to say that those are important parts of your life. But I think almost everyone, and I don't know, I think almost everyone, especially in our darkest moments, I think we know that there's something else there. We want that connection, and we know that it's powerful. I don't know, maybe that's just me being, again, leaning into the mysticism and the woo-woo, but I think most of us feel that. And I think it can be so powerful in these moments. I'm glad to see you have such a big platform, and that I was looking you up on YouTube, and you've been talking to some really awesome people. So when it comes for you, like, what's your mission with this? Like, what's your mission as an advocate?
Well, I stepped forward and started tweeting about human trafficking on like April 2nd, 2020. That's when I really stepped forward to be a public survivor leader. So it's just happened just a year. And then I started doing my first podcast in September 2020. So I was tweeting about human trafficking before April, but I stepped forward as a public, with my name, my picture, everything there, said, hey, I'm a survivor. That was really like the real one. And then I started doing podcasts in September, and then I really kicked the podcast into high gear about 5 months ago. The podcasts have been great. So that's been awesome. My goal is to serve as many survivors as possible at whatever I can do. My goal is to keep my message pure and to not sell it. My tweeting style, my podcast style is not for sale. This is not, I don't do it as a representative of any organization. This is just me out here, you know? And that's been really helpful because I haven't had to toe the line or say anything or fit inside a box or fit a political agenda or what the hell, you know, whatever else, you know, I can say whatever I think.
That's it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate and review, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can also share this podcast with a friend. It helps my podcast grow, and I really appreciate it. I hope to see you next time.